Hey folks, Nathan Tricky Allen here. I am the creator of the entertainment contract generator. Congratulations on getting this. This is going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money, and make you look more professional. Before we get into the weeds of how to set this thing up for your specific brand of crazy, I want to show you why I built it and exactly how damn fast it is. So let's just say I'm on the phone with a client. We agreed on the date, the price, the details, and I'm punching in their info into the generator right here on the main screen. Now watch this. I get down to the bottom and I click the giant write agreement button. Boom. The contract is instantly generated right below it. It's legally tight, perfectly formatted, and has zero math errors, which is important. And now to continue on to close the deal, I just hit copy all text, and it's going to copy everything. It's the contract and the intro and outro email messages of it. And then I click open email app. Boom, boom. Look at that. My email client pops up. It's already addressed to the buyer, the representative of the client, and my customized subject line is already filled in with the details. So I just click into the body of the email, hit paste, and there it is. It's a friendly email wrapping up a bulletproof agreement, and you hit send. And once they reply, I agree or confirming or anything like that, and pay the deposit, which is linked in the email there, I am officially booked, paid, and protected. And before you ask, yes, thanks to the Federal E-Sign Act, which was passed back in the year 2000, I think, that simple email reply holds the exact same legal weight as a traditional pen and ink signature. It's 100% binding. So it's fast for you, it's easy for them. There's no PDFs, no fighting with Word documents. It's a total friction-free booking process. Now let's get into how this all works. Listen, if you've never written an entertainment contract before, take a deep breath. You'll be fine. Everything's going to be okay. A lot of performers get intimidated by legal paperwork, but a contract for what we do is basically just a communication tool. It lays out everything to make sure we're on the same page, pun intended, right? And to make sure that we all know what's going on with each facet of the booking that we're doing. And it helps you so you don't get screwed over, and you can just basically show up and do what you do best. Now, first things first, the technical stuff. This isn't some bloated app. It's not a website you have to log into. Nothing lives on a cloud server. This is literally just a single HTML web file, which, think about it like it's like basically a private website page, except it doesn't live out there on the internet anywhere. It lives just on your own device, right? So your clients will never see this screen. This is your private backstage tool. So to use it on your computer, you will receive this zip file. You just need to unzip it or extract it, and then inside it you will see this entertainment contract generator HTML file. This one's got a Chrome logo on it because that's my default web browser. If you use Safari or Firefox, it'll have that logo on it. It also comes with a user manual, a link to the video instructions, which is what you're watching right now, and an icon that you can use to make it look fancy on your device if you choose. You can delete the icon if you want. but it's just a little thing that's recognizable, little contract situation. Now, once you have this opened, you can just double click the HTML file, and it'll open into whatever your default web browser is. Now, if you want this also on your phone or your tablet, which is a badass move for booking gigs from the green room, you just email this file to yourself and you open it up and download it, save it locally to whatever device you're on, your phone or your tablet or whatever, and you open it from there. And then you can even bookmark it as a quick link, or you may even be able to save it on your home screen, just so you know, for quick access. But otherwise, it just lives in wherever you put it. If it's in your files folder, your downloads folder, or on your computer, wherever you want to put it is fine. And you can make shortcuts from there, and that's what the little icon situation is for. Now, because it's an offline file, your computer might throw some crazy paranoid security warning the first time you open it. Just tell it to chill the hell out and open anyway, or allow, or whatever the words happen to be there. This is I built this myself. There are no bugs, there are no viruses in this, I promise you. Now, because this is locally located, uses your browser's local memory on whatever device you're on, there's a little bit of a warning here. You have to back up your settings. All of your custom fine print, legal clauses, profiles, they're all going to be saved directly into your browser's local memory. So what that means is if you clear your browser history, cache, saved stuff, it'll wipe this tool completely clean. So to get around that and to take care of save your settings and all the work you're going to do here in a second, if you go down to the settings page, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you'll see this export import settings button. You got to use that. If you click the export, it'll save a little backup file onto your computer, wherever you have your downloads set to save. Could be your downloads folder, could be your desktop, whatever. Save that little file, right? You can email it to yourself. You can put it in a cloud folder somewhere. So that way, if you ever get a new phone or accidentally clear your cache of your browser, you can just bring in your backup file, and you can hit the import settings button. It'll upload that file, and you're back in business in like 2 seconds. All right, let's get this customized just for you. When you open it up, you'll see this main screen, and if you go up to the top right corner here and click the settings button, we can set up everything about who you are and what you do. You generally only have to do this once, unless you expand your services or show types or markets in the future, right? Now, this is where we teach the contract generator who you are and what you sell. So we're going to open this up and walk through every single section. First, right up here at the top, we have the save and close buttons. They kind of float, so even if you scroll down, they still stay sticky right there. So you can easily click save to save your work, which you should do often. Also, if you try to close it without saving, it'll throw a little warning at you to give you a little heads up, so you're not throwing away a whole bunch of work that you did by accidentally clicking the wrong button. This is the short code guide. Click to expand that. This shit is pure magic. Anywhere you type a bracketed code like this, like rep first name or performance date, the generator automatically swaps it out for the actual information you entered on the main screen when you write the contract. So you can use these heavily in your email templates, which I'll get to in a little bit. Right below that is the profile manager. This is killer if you work different markets. Let's say you have a 5-piece rock band, but then you also occasionally do backyard barbecues as a solo acoustic act, right? Or maybe you're a magician and you've got a corporate mind reading show, but you also do kids shows at daycares or something like that. Well, you can save different profiles for different customer types, different show types, because your corporate mind reading show is going to require a different set of language versus your daycare kids show. So you can duplicate things, you can rename them, you can set up entirely new ones from scratch using the default versions. You can delete any of these. This comes with a whole bunch of sample options. You don't have to keep those there. This is just so you can see what's kind of possible here. And the duplicate thing is handy if you're, again, just for a random example, if you're a musician and you've got a solo act and a duo act that you book sometimes, and then a trio. Well, your duo and your trio are probably going to be pretty similar to one another as far as technical requirements. So you can just duplicate your duo, mix in the stuff to change the wording to call it your trio act, but you can duplicate it, but then just change whatever needs to be changed for that, if that makes sense. There's also right here a color code for the background with the color palette here. So you can have like a slate gray for your corporate gigs, or if you've got a kid show, you can make that like a obnoxious bright orange. And that way you never accidentally start writing a contract for the wrong market. Because when you're on the phone, I mean, you're going to be distracted. You're talking to your customer. You want to be able to, at a glance, see what contract you're writing. Down here, the agreement title. By default, it just says performance agreement. For more casual gigs, you may want to call it a performance confirmation, because I would stay away from using the word contract for the title of it, because just changing the word contract to booking confirmation or performance agreement can stop like a corporate legal department from panicking, and it'll turn like a 3-week review process back into a 5-minute approval. At least that's been my experience anyway. Beneath that, we have the parties. This section lays out who is signing the deal, who is agreeing to it. First, you've got the client information options. You can toggle on or off the client company, job title, and website fields. Because if you book a lot of private backyard parties, you could have a profile set up that does not include company, job title, and website fields. Like if you're just often booking some dad named Mark for a backyard barbecue, you don't want that stuff in your form. it'll just eliminate it from the contract and eliminate it from the stuff you have to fill out. Below that is your identity. So you put in your act name and genre. And below that is a crucial checkbox. It's a legal business name. So if you have an LLC or a corporation, you want to check this box and type in your organization or company name. So this will link your brand to your business, but it puts up a professional liability shield. So if a drunk guest trips over your speaker stand, they're going to, hopefully not, but if they do, they're going to sue your LLC and not your personal bank account, right? So, and then you have your representative name, title, phone, email, website, mailing address. If you're just a single solo person who represents yourself, then in this section right here that says, lost it. In the section where it says rep's job title, you can just put like self-represented or something like that. The performance section, this is where it starts to get interesting. This is what they're actually buying. We got the intro paragraph that just says entertainer agrees to provide the following entertainment services for the client. Below that is a use custom to be decided schedule toggle. You'll want to check this if you often book festivals where your exact set time is always to be determined until you like really nail that stuff down, because you want to get the contract out, get it booked, but you don't want to wait for weeks and weeks and weeks while your client is like, oh yeah, we'll get back to you in 3 months from now when we have the entire fair's schedule nailed down, if that makes sense. So this way you can still book it, but it just opens up a little area where you can be like, hey, we're booking this, but we don't have the exact dates and times nailed down. If you don't check that, then it has the calendar situation where you can check the calendar and put in the show time. And if you've got additional performances, for example, if you're the keynote speaker, if you've got a keynote speech on a Friday night, but then like a breakout session, interactive thing on Saturday morning, you can add both of those right there. For the show and service options, this is where you can build out your menu of services. Like if you're a musician, you have a full stage, full band production or acoustic set, and give each one a specific description. And later on, you can select them from the drop down on the main screen. This is good to fully describe what you do, but also what you don't do. So like if your brand is kind of a squeaky clean comedian, then this will describe what you do as a squeaky clean comedian. And you can include these, like these included, the performance shall not include any hurtful, discriminatory material regarding race, political preferences, religious beliefs, sexual orientation, gender identification. You can specifically say you're clean, or I do stage comedy magic shows for adults only. So mine says, hey, this show is going to include some mild language references, situations which are not appropriate for children, but then I also include the no politics, sex, religion thing. And that's just to give the client a little bit of peace of mind, so they can be like, oh yeah, we're buying something that's a little bit edgy, but it's not something that we're going to have to get HR involved with, right? And then you can just select whatever show on the main screen. You can use the drop down to pick whatever whatever thing you're inserting there. All right. Beneath that, we've got location and venue access. This whole section helps stop day of show disasters. You can toggle on the fields for location and address, specific room or banquet hall, and that's so you aren't wandering around a massive hotel looking for your customer. Arrival time, entrance for load in, like if there's a loading dock you have to use, parking instructions, so you know if you can just stay parked at the loading dock, or if you've got a reserved spot for you, or if you need to pull your vehicle over into the employee lot, whatever like that. Unique load-in challenges, so that way you know if you're hauling gear up 3 flights of stairs, or or like I did in Kansas City one day. It was literally 3 flights of outdoor fire escape narrow stairs that I had to load in with a few 100 pounds of gear. And but if you know that you have to do that, then you can pad your arrival time, arrive a little bit earlier, and so you're not freaking out when it comes to when you thought load in was going to take 15 minutes and it's taken 45 minutes. You're not panicking. And then the on-site representative's name and phone number, because sometimes the person that books you is not the person that's actually there at the gig on the night of the event. So, yeah, John, the CEO, may have hired you, but John, the CEO, might be out on vacation, and you can't really text him to unlock the door if if he's sitting on a beach in Cancun, you know. So you'll want to be able to get a hold of your specific on-site representative on the day of, and I always usually text them when I'm an hour, half hour out, and be like, hey, I'll be there at this time. Where again should I park? That kind of thing. Performance area and stage. This is where you can dictate your physical footprint that you need. First is the space requirements, where you state your minimum dimensions and vertical clearance, which is important. The vertical clearance is important if you've got big gear or tall props, or if you do some crazy shit like juggling while riding a unicycle, because you don't want to have a 6-foot unicycle and your space is only 8 foot tall, because you don't want to be banging your head against the lighting fixtures because speed bump. Now we've got the raised stage details. You can enter text for when a stage isn't required and text for when the client does provide one. And it explains that you need it for visibility and that the sections must be securely locked together for safety, and that you need safe steps or stairs for your audience participants to get on, or for you to get on it. Like I never thought that I would need to include such a common sense thing as, hey, if you have a sectional stage, maybe make sure that it's locked together, right? But ask me how I know. I was doing a show and they had a sectional stage, and I'm pretty animated when I perform. And one time I took a step sideways with a little bit too much side force, I guess, and the entire stage slid apart by like 1.5 feet. Luckily, nobody fell down through it. No gear fell down through it, but holy cow, can you imagine? And lastly, there's a text box for additional requirements, like if you always need something specific, like an 8x8 foot drum riser or something like that. Audience seating and room layout. This is a huge thing to include for visual acts like magic. You'll want to use this paragraph to demand that the crowd is like only to the front of the stage, not wrapped around the sides if you're a magician. If you're a magician or a comedian or a hypnotist, you want the audience located right up to the front of the stage. You don't want a giant dance floor between the stage and the front row of the audience, because that just kills the energy. On the other hand, if you're a party band, maybe you do want a dance floor. So you would specify that right here. Tech and AV requirements. Here you would outline exactly what gear you provide versus what the client provides. You've got separate toggles and text boxes for sound, lighting, and electricity. Fill out the text for what happens when you provide it, what happens when the client provides it, and for electricity, explicitly state how many dedicated circuits and what kind of power level you need. So the caterer doesn't plug in a commercial coffee maker and blow your stage lights halfway through your set. There's also an other additional requirements box for things that you always need for them to supply. Like if you're that keynote speaker again, and you always need them to supply a projector, a screen, and an HDMI hookup for your laptop. Travel. Outline who is paying you to get there. If you're driving yourself, that's entertainer provides. If you're flying halfway across the country and they need to cover it, then that's client provides, right? You got boxes for if the entertainer provides and if the client provides. You can just fill in the information. Define this so you don't get stuck eating the cost of an expensive last-minute flight. Lodging. This is about where you will sleep, because we all have to sleep as much as we think we don't. Same deal. Text boxes for if you provide it, if they provide it, or if it's not needed at all, like if you're just doing local gigs. If you do need lodging, I highly recommend demanding a professional, safe hotel with, like, for example, indoor hallways and a lobby, and this way you're not being stuck in a customer's spare bedroom on a couch, sleeping with the family cat again. Hospitality at venue. Use these boxes to outline your needs. If you need a dressing room, meals, drinks, or none of the above. If you need a dressing room, ask for a private lockable green room and actual food. This is not about being a diva. This is about practicality, because when you're touring, oftentimes you don't have time to stop between noon and 3 p.m. to waste an hour at a restaurant. And by the time you get wrapped up at the end, if you're doing like a 3 o'clock load in and then a 5 o'clock sound check, 7 or 8 o'clock show, and you're not getting out of there and loading out until midnight or 1 a.m., oftentimes at that point, there's literally nothing you can find for a healthy meal in some strange town. So this isn't about diva shit. This is about keeping your fuel tank full and not dying or having a hypoglycemic meltdown. And also with the dressing room, you need a safe place to leave your wallet, your purse, or your laptop while you're on stage. And you shouldn't have to change clothes in a public restroom. Environment, conditions, and safety. This is kind of your ultimate armor right here. So like if a massive thunderstorm hits your outdoor gig, or the crowd gets violently drunk and is being obnoxious, this paragraph gives you the legal right to stop the show, change the show, walk away, or not go on at all, and you still get paid your full contracted fee. Recording and photography. This is about protecting your intellectual property. It's cool to let the guests take selfies or to take 15-second videos to share on TikToks or whatever. But use this text box to legally ban anyone from putting your entire act online for free or live streaming it for a commercial broadcast. This doesn't seem like something you would need to mention in a contract until you have, and I have, had a customer set up a tripod in the back of the room and film my entire show and put it up for free on their YouTube channel, which basically killed my ability to sell that exact same show to other consumers in that exact market, especially if you're like a keynote speaker. Why would they pay you 10 grand if they can just send a link to all of their employees to watch that exact same information for free? Merch sales. This is where you can explicitly state that you keep 100% of your merch sale gross revenue at the back of the room. Use this if you need to block greedy venues from demanding a 10, 15, 20, 25% cut of your t-shirts or CDs. This is an interesting one. I have gladly paid 20% if the venue provides the table, somebody to work it, and is taking care of doing the actual sales and tracking the inventory. I've got no problem with that. But recently, I've just been only selling my own stuff, and it only makes sense for selling my own stuff. You would have to see my show to understand. Like it wouldn't make sense to have anybody else at the back of the room selling this particular thing. But if you're a rock band and you're just selling T-shirts all night, maybe it's okay. Maybe it's okay if they provide somebody to sell the shirts for you the entire show, and then you can pay them for doing so. But you can also put a hard limit, like we will not pay any more than 15% of the gross revenue of the merch sales back to the venue. So that's something to think about, and something that you can alter or change or include or not include. Promo. This is where you make sure they use your approved headshots and billing name. This stops the client from putting you on a giant-ass billboard looking terrible in a blurry photo that they pulled off a random Google search. If you've got a specific web page for your EPK, your electronic press kit, you can put the actual URL, the link right here, and that way it's included in all of the contracts you send out. And it's just a quick one-click stop for your client. They can read it and be like, okay, yeah, and here's where I get the stuff. Boom, 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 and you're covered. Indemnification. This shifts liability back to the venue where it belongs. If a guest trips on the venue's shag carpet and gets hurt and wants to sue somebody, well, this indemnification paragraph keeps you out of that legal crossfire. Regarding other insurances, if you have your own entertainer liability insurance policy and you work for corporations or universities that need to see a copy of that, you can have your COI, certificate of insurance, saved in a private cloud folder, and you can link directly to that. Put the link right here in this little section, and that way you don't have to worry about attaching any clunky PDF attachments to your email when you send it. But your customer is still able to actually get a copy of it if they need it. Additional terms. This is a permanent catch-all space. Just check the box to include it. If you need to include something weird or different, and click add more additional terms. Like if you have a weird specific rule for your business, like if you're a stage illusionist, if you're David Copperfield and you need to make local stagehands sign a non-disclosure agreement for your illusion show, then you can give it a section of its own, title it, put the details in, and drop the paragraph text right in there. Cancellation policy. It clearly defines what happens for a cancellation if the client cancels. So they lose the deposit and owe the full fee if it's within 30 days. Cancellation by the entertainer. That's if you have to cancel for whatever reason, in which you refund them completely and strictly limit your liability. And force majeure, which is a no-fault cancellation. So like if a blizzard shuts down the highway, the gig is canceled, but this ensures you get to keep your actual expenses already paid. So like if you had already booked a $300 hotel room and a $900 flight, if your flight's grounded, that can be deducted from any refund you would possibly give or any application of the remaining balance to a future gig if it's rescheduled. Read through this really carefully. If you have a local attorney, have them take a look at it, make sure it complies with your locale and your specific situation. But this is pretty damn solid. Compensation. For the main settings, you can pick your currency from the drop down. This thing supports like 15 major world currencies. Who the checks should be written to, payable to, and if you're accepting checks or money orders or whatever. And then you can paste in your payment URL if you do online digital payments like PayPal, Venmo, Stripe, Square, whatever, or if you've got a more robust system built into your website, you can put that link right there. And then below that is the flat rate section. This is what most company parties and private events are. You can toggle this to appear or not appear. You can write your payment terms. You can make your deposit a flat dollar amount or a percentage. And you also have an overtime clause toggle down here. You can check it if you're like a musician or a band or a DJ. That's usually when overtime happens. Client asking you to play another hour because they're buying a shitload of drinks or whatever. Well, now it's all preset and pre-negotiated, so you don't have to do awkward haggling at 1 a.m. The ticket split section down below that, you can toggle it on or toggle it off, depending if you ever do ticket split or door deal gigs. Lets you choose to enter in what the percentage is, what it's based on, like if it's net sales, gross sales, if it's net, like what is allowed to be included in the deductions prior to the split. And you can enter in the ticket pricing and what it would look like as far as ticket numbers if it were sold out, so you can kind of juggle the math and figure out what would be the best option for you. Approval. This is my favorite part of the whole tool. This paragraph brings it all together and makes everything legit. This states that under the Federal e-Sign Act, an email reply of "I agree" or "looks good" or any other similar confirmation holds the exact same legal weight as a pen and ink signature. This completely removes the friction of making the client download, print, digitally sign, or actually sign, scan, PDF, no, and no mail and no faxes. Email message. Finally, you can use your short codes here to craft your email subject line, your greeting intro, and your closing signature. This wraps warmly around the cold legal text, and it makes you look really polished. A little quick note on the subject line and the create email, open email thing. This only works. Your device must have a default email app configured for that to work for you. Many Windows users don't have this, but you can look it up. How do I make Gmail, for example, my default email situation? And it will it'll show you how to do that. It's only really a problem on like desktop, on almost every mobile device, clicking the open email app is just automatically boom, boom, boom. It just does it. It just works. It's great. But look that up if you don't have a default email app on your like desktop or laptop situation, and you can get that nailed down. And then down there at the very bottom again is the export import section. Always back up your settings. Every time you make a big change in your settings, always export that tiny file. Always save it. They're saved time stamped, so you can see which one is the newest. So you can always delete the old ones if you need to. And then always, every time you change your settings, hit save at the very top here, and you're done. Your business is fully dialed in. You're good. And then, once again, always export your settings, especially if you plan on using this on multiple devices. Then you can just import it to your other device and have the exact same contract fine print language already all set up for you. All right, now that we've got all your settings set up, which is pretty much a set it and forget it type of situation, now here's how to use it in your day-to-day workflow. It's fast. You're on the phone with your client. The date works. They like what you do. The price is right. They want to book you. So when you open up your entertainment contract generator, this is the main screen that you're going to be spending 99% of your time on from here on forward. First, you'll want to hit this clear all fields button. You want to make that a habit to do that every single time, because you want to wipe the board totally clean so you don't accidentally send today's client the names or the pricing from yesterday's gig. You'll want to use the profile selector here at the top to make sure you're filling out the proper contract for the proper act that they're booking. And then you just fill in the blanks for your client, location, event details. If you turned off any of these certain fields in your settings, then your user interface here stays beautifully uncluttered. So if it's not something you're going to use often, then you can turn it off. And you don't have to worry about dealing with that button or that field of entering information. For the performance area here, you can pick a date on the pop-up calendar, type in the time, choose the show, the specific show that they're booking, and the duration. These are the show types that you built in your settings. So if you need to book a Friday night keynote and a Saturday morning breakout session, you can do that. You can add multiple dates and times. You just add a performance block, and you can add a second or even a third line. For the tech, travel, and hospitality sections, you just click the gray buttons. This is meant to be fast. If you click client provides hotel, a hidden little text box magically appears, so you can type in a super specific request if you have one for just this gig, like we'll need a late check-in because the tour bus won't arrive until midnight or whatever. Your custom terms, if you've got a weird one-off term that you need to insert just for this gig, open up the additional terms, this contract only, accordion that expands right there, add a term. You can make a title and the entire paragraph, and that'll insert into your contract just for this contract. The money, you got flat rate or ticket split. Type in your base price, and you can see the reservation fee and the balance boxes automatically calculate themselves. If you need to charge for a rental car, you can just add adjustment, type rental car, punch in the amount, the grand total, and the deposit update flawlessly in real time. Never have to do gig math in your head again. And the close here, just hit the giant write agreement button. If it yells at you in red like this, that means you forgot to fill out one of the fields. This is good. It kind of prevents you from looking stupid and sending an incomplete contract. Once you get that filled out properly, hit it again, turns green. That means you're good to go, and it generates the entire contract right here. copy all text. That'll copy everything to your clipboard, and then hit the open email app. And boom, there's your email. It's already populated with your customer's email address, your custom subject line, and you just paste from your clipboard. You just paste the entire contract and message right there, hit send, and that's it. That's how fast that goes. And as soon as they get back to you saying they agree and send your reservation fee, you are golden. You got it locked in. Now it's time to go have a coffee, because coffee is for closers. All right, that was the entire walkthrough. Look, I know nobody gets into the entertainment business because they love doing paperwork, but grabbing this tool was a damn smart move for your business. You're going to finally ditch the messy Word docs and the clunky PDFs and the awkward back and forth messages with attachments, trying to get the client to actually sign on the dotted line. So now you've got a bulletproof system that makes you look like a high-end pro, protects your hard-earned money, and gets you booked in just minutes and paid in just minutes. Plus, since there are no monthly subscription fees, this thing is going to pay for itself the very first time it saves you from a gig gone wrong. So take 20 minutes today to get your settings completely dialed in, back up your profiles, and then get back to doing what you actually love. Go close some deals, crush some shows, and I hope to cross paths with you out on the road someday. Thanks again.